I'm Geek Squad NASA today. Hello.
Welcome.
Are they still around, by the way?
I think so. I think they
Good
are.
for them. Then great for them. Let's give them some points over here, because if you think about it, a lot of this stuff, yes, we can get help in the web. Yes, the chat GPT can everything else, but there's still nothing like the human contact.
Right.
We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit here. But yes, there's still that case which I think is still worth it. I'm trying to think, could they be costing more than potentially our billing rates? not to be crazy about it, but even so, it's the case of like, well, you get what you pay for. Here's where I'm talking about. It's like for a lot of the AI stuff that people have been using for free, I've been running into finally hitting the walls that says, oh, you've used it too much now. It's like, really? I thought I used it only 5 times. Yeah, 5 times right now, but 30 times today. And all of a sudden they're like, no, it's not. You got to come back tomorrow. They're not telling you got to pay. Here's the thing. They're not telling you got to pay. They're basically saying come back tomorrow. A lot of those AI engines, they have the free versions, and you saw in our last show the concept of subscribe and all that stuff. They'll give you free, and then that's it. Then you got to wait till the next day, and then you'll get maybe like a refresh, like those crazy pay-as-you-go games. You've seen those on the phone. I thought, man, it's like, to pass the time sometimes, like on a plane or something, okay. Then after a while, you're really annoyed. Yeah, I have to ask Raquel about those, because if somebody might have tried them, some of those games actually say, yeah, win money, go to your PayPal, play poker or play solitaire, and you get cash. And I'm like, yeah, it feels so fishy.
So
fishy, but it's so pay to play, right? That's the concept.
But like ChatGPT, you can use the ChatGPT 4 if you pay $20 a month. Midjourney, the base subscription is $8 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that, you know what, I'm on the fence about. I think that, though, I'm going to probably go ahead and bite the bullet, and next time I'll be able to show some Midjourney stuff that we didn't get to necessarily see last time.
Right. So the issue with a lot of this is it's like death of a thousand cuts. They start adding up, and this is what we start talking about. And here's first tip. It's like, if you're trying to present something to like a client or a customer or something like that, start with, here's the money you'll make from it, before you tell them how much it costs. All right, how much time you're saving, how much money you're making, how great you're going to look, whatever it is. Think of all those positives, put them all up front. I mean, seriously, stack it up front. They're going to be like, whoa, what's the catch? Okay, well, the catch is $30 a month, or this price for this. But by that time, they should be totally sold in the I guess the Dan Aykroyd in Ghostbusters. I want it. Let's move in. Where's my stuff? You want to get them in that mode before you get to the other piece.
Right.
So death of a thousand cuts.
And for enterprises, they're seeing that with the cloud. So one of the things that recently, I had somebody ask is they've seen a lot of people that are moving back from the cloud. They're returning, to on-prem. And the question is, well, why are they returning to on-prem? It's, well, because they moved something to the cloud that they really probably shouldn't have. To be honest.
Place, right?
I mean, because what you have to do is you have to, come in and do a cost benefit analysis and see if it's actually worth putting it in the cloud. See if you're going to save money. See if you're going to get business value by it being in the cloud.
Right.
And for some things, you're just not. I mean, we're cloud people, and I'm all about the cloud, but there are some things it's better to run on-prem.
Right. So I mean,
Active Directory is not one of them.
Compute time. When you talk about compute time, is the one of the things, right?
Yes.
Like that can kill you quickly if you don't price it right. Maybe one day we should have a show of using the Azure calculator to figure that stuff out. But that's what some people were doing in a while. They were just knee jerking themselves into the cloud instead of like really going through and finding it out. So a lot of companies now actually have a business, and their only business is to go in and see what the heck you're doing in the cloud and help you optimize it. They'll be like, well, how did you get into that mess in the first place? Because they gave you all the tools before you went to the cloud. Seriously, Larry, how long was Azure Calculator out? Wasn't it there like day one?
It's been there forever. Yeah, it was really cool. It still is cool because it tells you up front what your cost can be. And a lot of it is prepaid too, right?
Yes.
A yearly subscription. Hey, we know that we're going to run this for a year. Well, why not go ahead and buy that year instead of buying it, pay as you go?
Exactly.
You can save significantly just by doing that. So, the cloud, one of the great benefits of the cloud is the elasticity, right? We can expand and contract, but some things don't expand.
Right.
They're constantly, they're constantly running at the same rate, and you just prepay. So anyway,
Yeah.
um,
I
the cloud,
wanted to go into some of that a little bit. Unless you have an agenda off the bat, I can share my
I do
screen.
not.
You do
Please
not.
share.
Okay. Let's find. Let's see what we have here. Ralph's screen again. We're going to do a share. All right. I had some of my favorite links for today to show off stuff over here. And of course, I'm still on the AI kick. Let's make sure there's nothing here too secret. Not really. There's nothing here too secret. Let's take a look. So the
There's
Azure
price
price calculator.
calculator.
I'm back to this because I keep coming in here. It keeps coming back to someone saying, what will it cost? What will it do something? And mainly because of this. The Azure AI services now are coming into play. All right, because unlike before where we could like say, let's take a price of a virtual machine, maybe a price of a service and put all those pieces together. Now they're saying, all right, go straight to Azure AI services. Turns out a lot of these other services are combinations of things. So what Microsoft has done, and I'm sure the others have done the same, is they package their costs. Right?
Yes.
So, but you have to understand what the heck they're asking for when they say come up with a cost, right? So they say, what are we doing? An anomaly detector. We're doing a speech. By the way, to learn all this stuff is part of the AI 900. There's a certification now for this AI 900. It's
Yes.
you know what? With 900 as a fundamentals exam, get a quickie cert, do a 900 exam, grab it. It's just basically know your concepts and you're done. So I have to understand, well, what is person? A lot of these you can look at it and you know what it is, right? It's like,
Right.
okay, anomaly detector. It must be something that detects anomalies. Pick a region. Wait a minute. Look, did you notice this over here? I want
Yes.
to
They have a
zoom in.
free and they then have a standard. So
So,
notice the free is 2,000 or 20,000 included transactions per month, up to 10 transactions per second. So see, they're very upfront about what you get with free.
If I do standard, that's where you start calculating. Then someone
Right.
says, well, if your POC comes alive, what is it going to happen? It's like, well, the problem is we got to figure out how many transactions we're talking about over here.
Right.
Transactions is a tough thing. Transaction is actually one connection there, one connection back. Here's a transaction. It completes, right? In this case of the anomaly detection, I look at something, transaction. I look at something, transaction. What if I have hundreds of thousands of data rows? Well, then I would actually keep adding my hundreds of thousands of data rows. And you can see I'm adding more zeros to the number.
You can get to real money.
So it can get to real money. However, look, I maxed out, I think. No, am I still? No, I did max out. All right. So it says this is the most that you can get because that's the most your Azure. Then you have to talk to Microsoft if you want something else. But just to give you an idea, this is what's called the pennies in the dollar, so to speak, but not exactly. This is 31 cents. So it's not that cheap. All right. However,
per 1,000 transactions.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So so I do, like, for example, I put in my numbers over here. Let me just put 100, and of course it has that leading zero. But there we go. So 30. If someone says I'm going to have maybe 10,000 transactions at most, and they know it for a fact because it's only used by like their one department that does something once a month, that does something for a little while, they can't complain about $3. Remember what I said before? You showed the cost of something. Show them the benefits. So when they come out and they see their benefits is hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and then all of a sudden they come back over here and they see maybe, I don't know, this number, right?
$30.
114, and they're like, seems like a lot per month. See, yeah, but you're literally saving $10,000 a month. Look at make them do the math and say, well, can I get it cheaper? Yes, why not? How about we do this, right? So maybe we do it this way. The multivariate. Look at this one. It's more. Does it seem more expensive? Because look at this. This is an anomaly detection per hour.
Right.
So now we have training hours per month. It's a different kind of measurement. So maybe there's transactions, right? There's training, 2 pieces, right? And then and data points. Remember we said data points, what they might cost. So check it out, per 1,000 data points. So let's go. If I had that many data points, holy smokes, just 10,000 data points seems like a lot. But then, you know what? When the kind of data that we work with is usually a lot less than that. If you're in this layer of data points to have to work out anomaly detection, they're going to tell you, why don't you do it in chunks, in smaller chunks?
Yes.
That would be my advice, right? It's like, well, because $5,000 a month seems like a lot. How important is that data? If you're looking for after the fact anomaly detector to find it, I don't think I would suggest this. I would suggest something more real time to tell you, we're going to crash, it's about to blow up, whatever it is, to tell you right then and there, as opposed to this. But here's the thing about these training systems. You give them data, and this in the case of anomaly detection alone, you give them the training, you understand the stuff, and then what you do is you have, and the rule is you give 80% of the data that you've got, you put that into the training, right? And then you save 20% of it for testing.
Right.
80-20 rule. The idea is here, and basically you have your data, you know the result. It's like you're predicting is what you're doing. You know the result. This should be an anomaly, all right? This should be okay. So I'm going 80% over here, and it shows me what's anomalies in there and what's okay. Now I'm going to take this data, the 20%, and start throwing it into test. And then it's going to say, did it predict it correctly? That's when you know you can.
And it's not 8 and 2. That's
Yes.
not 80%. We're talking about 800 and 200.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? Or 8,000 and 2,000.
Exactly.
You have
It's
to have
all about the
numbers.
Yes.
In order to get good training.
Right. So here's the thing, though,
the
about the numbers. The numbers, though, you have to look at it first. The human still has to look at the numbers, because the idea of biases and all this stuff does come into play. If you were like doing a loan calculator and you were doing it based on a particular region's loan information that they had and said, yes, it should predict the loans that were given. Well, no, maybe not, because perhaps that was not good in the first place. They were not being diverse in their loan giving or anything else, because that will carry over into the new data. So if they were like sort of prejudicial, then the new model will be exactly what they said. So you got to actually have to clean it up to give everything what's called the same weight. Now put it through the model. What does the model say? Well, the model says this, and sometimes it's a case of like, well, the model says this, but we can't like use it to predict yet because it's still a fudge factor. So we let real life happen, collect the data, and then again, every time bring in the model to see what did it do, retrain. So just so you know, AI is one of those continuous things. If you get into it, you're going to be busy for a while. But yes. I like the fact that still the Azure Calculator is the way to go. If you are doing any kind of project on the web, and not just Azure Calculator, but any of these systems, if you do it without consulting what something costs first, be prepared to have
now, one thing really quick while you're here, if you don't mind, scroll back down and let's go to one of the other, change from the anomaly detector back to, just one of the other services. And you added one there. So notice over the third drop down is payment options, pay as you go.
Here we
You drop that down, you can committed tiers. And that's what I was talking about before. This is when you're paying in advance for the year, and it will cost you significantly less if you lock in a certain amount of committed compute time, because that helps your Azure service provider. It helps them understand and predict what their load is going to be like in the future.
Right. So look at this, per million records, and then over here, just getting 1,000 is like just getting 10,000 over it is already going to take you into big numbers, because it's set up for that area. Unless, of course, you increase your commitment. Look at this. You see that how like you saw it? It was just 10,000 more records, right? And now it says that'll cost you seven grand instead of $700. In addition to the $700. So that's I should probably go to this there.
That's 10,000 times 1,000 records per month. But yes, absolutely. If you commit to a higher record, you're actually reducing your overall cost.
Yes, and notice as you commit to more, then your cost for going over also goes down.
Yes.
So there we go. So this is the idea. You have to take these under standard, and also do remember that, like you saw the free standards and stuff. When you want to learn the stuff, that's how you do it. Go free wherever possible. It gives you that limit, but again, like anything else, it says within this period. Then you just have to wait. or have another account that's also free. There's always a way. There's always a way to go.
Yeah,
But
there's always a way to go.
you can always work out at least to train. Of course, when you start using it for real, you can't get away with it anymore because you can't go and flip your service just to one account to the other. I think they watch out for that. They actually have stuff to watch out for that. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of money, let's see. I'm going to show a few of my favorite things that are going on today. By the way, so I think I said I was talking at the Power Platform Conference in October.
Yes.
Might ask. Let's go ahead and let me show that link. I am speaking. This one, of course, you got to pay to go unless you're in Vegas already. Well, you still have to pay to go to the thing. Power Platform Conf. There we go. In DC is where I will be in October. This is probably the bigger show. I did this in Orlando last year, but this time I'm for real over here because I actually have 2 sessions. I'll say for real because I'm actually talking about a technical subject instead of a quote-unquote community subject. And yes, I am one of the speakers that are in here, maybe not featured. I don't have as good a mugshot. Let's see. And of course, AI stuff. But no, I'm actually not talking about AI. I'm talking about Power Platforming stuff. Yes. So that's okay. So anyways, I have a discount code. And let me put that up. Let me see if I can get a notepad going. Control-Shift+. Nope, it doesn't work anymore. Yeah, Control+.
Notice that your notepad has tabs now, by the way. You have a tab notepad.
Did you notice that? Look at this. You can make a new one and all that stuff. So that was a good catch on this one. But there's my discount code. Should you decide to partake, want to give that to you? I imagine it's $100, probably. So that's one of my sites that I want to show off today. All right, go save.
Something else, by the way, in Windows 11, if you open up a command window,
yes,
it's a regular command prompt. It's tabbed now as well. So you remember,
so I was just doing this because I was doing some scripty stuff lately and adding my, like my pack CLI and all that stuff. Here's the command prompt.
No, yours is not tabbed.
Ooh.
I must be on an insider build.
You must be on an insider build, but this one is not tabbed. But I remember I had another one, but it wasn't this command prompt. It was the remember that one that we used to download and play with a lot. That one had tabs, but I was using that for development. But anyways, this is the command tab. This is still here, just making sure that the pack, if my command prompt works. And there's my notes. Let's see. Whoa, this is slow. There we go. Yes, it's working. All right, for being able to get into stuff. So CLI is still my favorite thing to do, and a lot of that is in. Where I usually do my work, though, is when I want a command prompty and then have this kind of power, is I'll usually do
Commander.
There's Commander. Commander was one of my favorites, and otherwise I'm just usually in here. And where are you? There it is.
In Microsoft Code, in the
Indeedy dandy. Here we go. It's coming up slowly. Where are you, buddy? It's over here.
I see it down there at the bottom.
Yeah, I see it too. There we go.
In the terminal. There we go.
There we go. And the terminal window is what I'll usually be using over here to view the area. Where's my terminal? Hello. So, well, of course I have Windows over here. Where is my terminal? Oh, look at this. ChatGPT is in here. Check it out. I have here Copilot. I wanted to show actually, good segue, because I wanted to show that over here. Copilot you can actually play for free. But here's one of the things that you need really if you want to make the most of the Copilot and the other stuff. Code Spaces. You've heard of Code Spaces over here?
No, tell me about Code Spaces.
Let's talk about it. This one I think we can actually do and listen to.
So today we're going to run my JavaScript project in GitHub Code Spaces. So while we're creating our code space, you might have the question, what even is a code space? A code space is an instant cloud developer environment where we can run, test, debug, push everything that we're used to doing in a development environment, but without any of the machine setup we're used to doing locally.
No machine.
So when we create this code space, you'll see we land in a machine that is already set up, and it has Python, Node, Docker, and even more. So it has tools like Java and Rust and Go and C++. Nice. But you'll see we landed in the default image. The great thing about Codespaces is you can fully customize your setup, not only for you, but for everyone else who comes along in this repository. So you can have a config as code setup that allows you to use your own image or Docker file or Docker Compose. So for our app, we're actually just going to go ahead and start it up. So I'm going to run npm start here, and you'll see that we're told our app is running on port 3000, and we can open it in the browser and connect securely to a forwarded port that has our app fully up and running. So you'll see here's my Node app up and running, connected to in a Codespace. And this took us about 60 seconds to get set up in Codespaces. So you can imagine this fully customized to really bring down the setup time for really every repository you have. And it's a quick look at GitHub Codespaces.
Right. So really, when you're onboarding developers, because I mean we're contractors, right? So we always have to go through that onboarding, and for organizations, for some reason, it still takes occasionally weeks to get someone onboarded, and even when they're onboarded, then they're just in a virtual machine or in a remote desktop that they then have to go through and set up all of the development tools in, and it's just gross. But this seems like this would be a great way to leverage, the Docker image, to leverage a pre-configured code space, a pre-configured place where developers can come in and be, from day one, be working.
Yes.
So that's great.
That's fantastic. Now the idea, especially, you can work across the world with this very, very quickly. A lot of the issues that would have with machines and everything else are out there. But part of the reason to do this is that when you're working, especially with things like not just Codespaces, but also Copilot and everything else, there is Copilot, and there's the act of working with other people. Even the Power Platform stuff that we do these days now have that ability to work with others, which was not something low code could not do. Now you can just do it. The final thing is, like, all this Azure stuff that I want to show you. I have a couple of favorite. Well, actually, I have one major favorite old article to show you over here. And this was the one, like, sometimes we get like these freebie trial Azure subscriptions, or we get our own, we're assigned MSDN to ourselves. And then you got to play with your dev tenant, or you got to play with something else. In the case of the M365 dev tenants, which anyone can get and get free, you could get your Azure subscription piece into it. And that's what this article, it's an older one. And look, it's from July 30, 2020 was the last update of this particular article, but it still applies. Has not changed. I said, did they do anything easier to make it easier? No, they have not. And I was just reminded of this one. It's like, as old as this article is, it still applies note for note. It looks like there's a lot of steps, but that's okay. I mean, it should be. It shouldn't be that easy to just connect and go. In fact, that's the whole point of security and making sure everyone is in the right place and doing it in the right way. But I wanted to show this particular article. It's Lori Kokarinen, and it's the Azure Credits and M365 Developer Tenant, which is free. But then when you have Azure, you can now do all that AI stuff. You can do D365 trials that require it. You can do, if you're trying to like have data, like play with data, and you want to like do it from a front end that's maybe M365, like Teams or something, and you want to play with monster data, not SharePoint, you want to go crazy. And if we go crazy in Azure, right? That's what you would use to connect. The last one there's two more things I want to show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Real quick, there's a hackathon going on for Power Platform AI to play with all these Copilot tools, all the stuff that I've been showing for a little while. There's a bit of a hackathon. If you go to the Microsoft site, and maybe there's the link over here, we're going to put it on. I don't mind competing with other folks, but it's nice to have other folks in there because you get to see all kinds of ideas of people putting stuff together. That I don't mind. That one's fun. I'm not in it for the money, as they say. We're in it for the experience, to get to see what other folks are doing and have fun with it. There are prizes and all this stuff. That's great, but it's not really, for me, it's not about that. For you, it might be, though, for you as in you listening, to take a look. But here's like the concept of hackathon. I believe they have these not just for Power Platform, but for other things as well. Watch out for those. Google had an AI hackathon recently that actually I think one of our teams participated in. It's actually cool. And the last one on the AI stuff, the reason why I also had to look up the money stuff is we're going to be doing something here with speech. And I didn't realize this when I first came to this site a few years ago. I think this page was like maybe this big from here to down here. And now I'm going through and I'm seeing everything from voice assistants to text to speech going into custom voice, speech translation, pronunciation assessment. What? Batch and custom speech over here, captioning, of course, and the post-call caption analytics. This stuff has got bigger, and there's something coming down the pike that I want to talk about, but I can't. That's going to be very interesting. That's going to be based on this, and I definitely once I'm allowed to show it. I want this show to be the place to see it. It's really, really cool. But I would suggest folks start working on this one. Just if you want to play with something, it's the next level, right? You're going to talk to your system. The system is going to talk back to you. Yeah, we have the chatbots, and I show off the chatbots and all those cool things that it's doing. But really, it's going to work when it starts actually talking. Hey, you got to start talking here. It's going to sing like a canary, or maybe literally sing like a canary if you play with the custom voice. Who knows? What does a canary sound like? God knows. Anyway, so those are the little things that I wanted to show off on my stuff here today.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. The code space is worth the time.
Yes, the code spaces is one you're going to need it to play with.
You can use it today. It's not a beta. It's not a preview. Be watching. It's use it now. Absolutely. Cool.
So I like
thank you, Sir Ralph. I'm sorry that I did not come with anything.
No, it's okay. I know you have stuff every so often. I'm looking at this over here, just playing with the assessment. So, look at this 5-second limit with free trial. So the idea is to have so we had a great time. So the idea is you're supposed to sample your voice on this one particular case, right? So I think this is great. If you're coming in if you think you have a strong accent, come in and give it a try and then record it really quick. And then you start a resource and it's going to give you JSON. It's going to give you a score and all that stuff. That's actually really cool to try things out off the bat.
Just play it. Yeah.
Run demo code. I wonder if there's demo code right here. Oh, look. Check it out. Go to GitHub.
Back over here.
Get your demo code. Bring it down and add it and bring it in your code space.
Get a tongue twister and then record yourself saying it.
Okay. Let's see. It says go get a tongue twister. Actually, I know some tongue twisters. So let's see. Where do they have that? That was over over here. Speech Studio. Was it here? Was it here? Cognitive speech. I got a tongue twister. Let's see.
And that's just a picture. I'm sorry.
It's just a picture. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's just the app when it runs. Yes, of course. I was gonna actually hit record. Nope, it's not that. That's why I have these pictures here. But that's what this app is, right? Learn pronunciation, get a tongue twister, and all stuff. I think that's really cool. If you want to play with your code spaces right now, grab this. Grab a friend.
and test it out.
Yes, exactly. Look at this. Java, Node, Python. You know what? It almost doesn't matter what language we're working in anymore, because now between the co-pilots and all the other stuff, it's like, you don't necessarily have to care anymore that you were brought up with JavaScript and React and any of that. You can go and play with these other tools very quickly.
So we're almost to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's Babelfish, right?
Yes.
In the ear.
Indeed.
We're pretty much there as far as you mentioned people were in a meeting and they were seeing the closed captions in their own language. Well, it's not going to be long before it will be speaking in your voice in that language.
So that's sort of happening now, where it can actually do that with with avatars. They're able to do it. These are all in preview. I've seen those. Actually, they have demonstrated these at those big shows and stuff like that, where essentially you're getting to hear, if your language is whatever, instantly you get a character that's actually speaking in that voice, and even that avatar is like speaking in that voice. So it's really it's getting there, right? So,
it's getting there.
Give us a few months. There's stuff coming up that will be fun to see.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Next week we will hopefully find some more interesting cloud topics and show you what's going on in the world of the world of AI and the cloud, and we'll eventually get back to Ralph's money.
Yes, at some point my money will come back to life, or somebody will give me money, and then maybe we can start playing fresh from that point and see where it goes. You only go up, right?
unless it doesn't.
We're so low, we can only go up. Yeah, right. It's not how it works. But yes, that should be fun. And kudos to Raquel for the last show over here. We're going to see this particular show over here, see how it goes. Trying something a little bit different in our format, and hopefully we shall be getting more subscribers coming in to play along and see what happens.
Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you for tuning into this Cloud Talk Show premiere. This has been another of many episodes of our show. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you can stay tuned for all the latest cloud tech news with Ralph and Larry. We'll see you next time.